Gemini Pisces. Well, Gemini and Pisces have a interesting relationship, actually quite stimulating. A lot of astrologers, modern astrologers, will tell you, oh, they're very different. They can't get together. Gemini and Pisces are not meant to be together. They trigger themselves under a difficult, angle. But actually, those signs make each other grow a lot faster. And they make each other grow a lot in very important areas of life. Say your ascendant or sun or moon, to a lesser degree, sun or moon, is in Gemini. Then the Pisces person will trigger the 10th house for the Gemini, which is the house of career, which is the house of worldly ambition, achievements, is the house of getting active. So Pisces can very much stimulate the desire for achievement in a Gemini, whether through positive or negative example. Pisces can be such a slob and so lost in life that they can trigger in a Gemini the desire to never be like that and to develop career. Or Gemini can be, or Pisces can be so successful in their life that the Gemini person will feel inspired or would want to compete, or out of competitiveness would want to achieve the same heights or even higher heights, higher achievements in life, and can push them into pursuing a career. Also, Pisces person can be quite key figure for the career of a Gemini person by being bosses, often being authority figures in the life of a Gemini ascendant, to a lesser degree Gemini sun person, or being often a Pisces figure. Pisces person with a few planets in Pisces can be someone who inspires the Gemini, as I said, or who can help a Gemini find the job, or who gives an advice on a Gemini on their career, on their steps, on their projects that they do, even if it's not like a traditional career of climbing steps, it can be like some creative project or any kind of project that involves the worldly actions and leaving something behind, making something productive and leaving it for posterity, or just something that is something that the person is active within the world. So a Pisces can have such an influence, can such an inspiration to a Gemini figure. Also, it can be a bit of a paternal figure to the Gemini person, because 10th house is the house of the father, is the house of the authority figure, a bit condescending, a bit trying, to lead the Gemini person, which can infuriate the Gemini person sometimes. Or the Gemini person might really look up to the Pisces person, because the 10th house, which Pisces triggers for the Gemini, is the highest house in astrology, and it's the house where one should aim for the highest ideal, for the highest achievement. So some authority figure or some higher standing figure can have such an influence on the Gemini person, kind of inspirational, or can help them achieve heights in their life. Let's see, to another extent, or the Pisces figure can be acting a bit like a father or boss figure to the Gemini person. To especially Gemini ascendant people. What happens if your ascendant is in Pisces, though? Or if you're, to a lesser degree, the sun or the moon are in Pisces, then the Gemini person will trigger the 4th house of the horoscope for the Pisces. So the 4th house is just the opposite of the 10th house. The 4th house is the house of the family, of emotional stability, of looking inside rather than outwardly, trying to find happiness within than trying to find happiness in the outside world with achievements, with social standing, with climbing the ladder, which a Pisces would inspire usually in Gemini. But the Gemini for a Pisces will show just the opposite, that you have to find real happiness, you have to look inside. That real happiness can come once you build a solid foundation in your life. And the solid foundation for happiness is usually measured in houses, property, and family. That's why 4th house rules family. This is the foundation where you go to every time after work, after the onslaught of the outside influence, where you feel most protected, most safe. So for a lot of Gemini, for a lot of Pisces people, Gemini can have this, can be like figure who inspire them to have their own property, to settle down, to put roots. So even if you're some Pisces who is like super worldly, who wants to be always traveling, who is a citizen of the world, who wants to be, never grow roots, then they meet a Gemini lady or Gemini man, Gemini ascendant, moon, sun, and this person might bring the great desire in them to settle down, to have family, to have roots. Also, you can be a Pisces and you can have a very good friend who is a Gemini, who teaches you that achieving recognition in the world is not all that brings you happiness. So looking inside, finding emotional balance. A Gemini person can help a Pisces person find emotional balance, inner happiness, even become more introspective, introverted, look at their soul. Gemini person can be a great psychoanalytical a friend or real psychologist for a Gemini, for a Pisces person. As I said, taking the energy within and finding true happiness, balancing the emotions. This is what, and the Gemini person can do it in a negative way by themselves being super, disbalanced people, and the Pisces person is looking in their life and is saying, "There's no way I'm gonna be like that Gemini." And there's no way I'm gonna do the same mistakes, so I'm gonna try and find happiness within. So it puts, or I'm gonna try, or a Gemini person never settled down, and I was always traveling around, and the Pisces person looks at them and says, I never want that, I want to have family, So they can do it in positive or negative way. We usually hope they do it in a positive way. So let's recap. Gemini brings into the life of Pisces more inwards and more family and emotional stability, development in that area. If you're Pisces ascendant, you keep attracting Gemini people, or you have a few important Gemini people in your life, Gemini sun and moon, these people are there to teach you emotional self-balance and the joys of finding happiness within, not outside in the world, the joys of finding happiness in the family, in the private world, in your closest, nearest and dearest, and the joy of settling down, growing roots. And if you're Pisces, if you're Gemini ascendant in particular, Sun and Moon, the Pisces people will trigger your ambition and your achievement in life and can help you reach bigger heights or climb the social ladder. Thank you.